Hey, this is Big Earn here with MMABuzz.com. MMABuzz.com. I'm here with Addie, making his pro debut on the Zombies Fight to Win card. Jamie, it's been a little while since you fought. You know, I happened to be there at that kickdown when you fought, oh man, a guy out of California, Marin was his name. If I remember correctly, you kind of went the distance, and you're such a, you know, like you're so explosive. As far as what you got going on for this fight, you know, you kind of been training in a different gym. What are you looking to do? And you know, after coming off of such a long layoff, what are you looking to achieve here? You know, on your pro debut.
You know, ironically, I am out of a different gym, but I'm training with all the same guys that we trained with before. One of the biggest differences in that Jose Marin fight, my last fight, was Mark Montoya, my crew, my Thai crew, my striking coach, who's our head coach here, had worked a lot with me on my striking in general for that fight, and so that was a big difference in my game of fighting technically versus going out there and brawling. As far as what I'm looking to achieve with this fight and having a 2-year layoff, man, the layoff doesn't bother me. I had almost an 18-month layoff from my last fight. The only thing that I didn't like about that fight is that I wasn't as aggressive as I normally am, and that's what I really look to change. Is if you look at any of my fights before that, it was a brawl, it was in your face, you know, and being real aggressive. That last fight, man, I fought more technical than I've ever fought, and I mean, I let the guy up, you know, a couple of times, which again, in hindsight, was stupid. So I look to be technical and aggressive.
Technically aggressive, I like that. It always makes for an exciting fight. And you know, as I was kind of looking over some different things, I actually took notes for some of these interviews now that I've started learning. But I did notice, I know you train with Eric Moya. I know Eric Moya. I noticed that your opponent has fought Eric Moya, and in fact, that fight was at 135, I thought. Now you guys are fighting 125. I was going to say, man, you're big, you know, because you know, I walk around 135, 140, and I know I can get to 125, and it's painful. You probably do the same thing, if not more. So you're like a huge 125er. But now looking at Matt Manzanera, who's fought at 135, he's probably going to be pretty big too. So maybe size won't be that big of an advantage. Have you been able to gain any insight because you have a teammate that's fought Matt Manzanera? What do you think about size? Do you think that's going to play a factor?
You know, man, at the end of the day, I honestly try not to worry about how big, how strong Matt Manzanera is or what he's going to do. I mean, I'm pretty confident in being probably one of the bigger, if not the biggest 25ers out there. I know Manzanera's. I mean, I saw Manzanera's at weigh-ins for Moya's fight, and I saw him the day of the fight. He really didn't look a whole lot different. So, you know, 35 is probably, I mean, he was a good lean 35, don't get me wrong, but 35 is to 40 is maybe the weight that he, you know, that he probably walks around at, whereas I walk around closer to 150. So, you know, again, I'm not really too worried about size with it, and I mean, it's not an issue.
Sure. We're technically aggressive Jamie Addie. That's what we're worried about right now. But as another thing that I thought was interesting is one of the other fighters that I recognized on your list was Josh. You know, Josh Huber. I might be mispronouncing his name, but you know, and he's a very good fighter. But I don't think he fights at 135, 125. I think he's up there at 145. When early in your career, were you fighting at a heavier weight?
Yeah, I fought my first 3 fights. We're at 145.
Again, just a fan question. It has nothing to do with the upcoming fight.
That's fine. My first 3 fights were at 145, but I was the guy drinking Gatorade at weigh-ins. You know, I was lean at 145, but and people weren't, I don't think, cutting his weight as aggressively as they are now.
Right.
Huber actually does fight at 35 now. I've trained with him recently. He's put on a lot of muscle. He's strong. So yeah, I fought Tommy Thompson at 45.
Right.
That kid destroyed me at 145 pounds. But yeah.
Awesome. Well, obviously I'm going to be a big fan of your fight just because the little guys are in there, and my little envy of wanting to get in there myself.
Sure.
But so I'll be rooting for you, and I hope you do a good job. I'll go ahead and let you thank your sponsors and whoever else you want to talk to.
Thank you, Inked Out. Thank you, PerformanceMMA.com. Check out Performance MMA and Inked Out, man, great supporters of Colorado Fighters. Performance MMA, great products. Go try them, whatever you like. American Ground and Pound, Mike has been it's been awesome to work with, man. He's a good guy. Seth Daniels, of course, Fight to Win. Appreciate it. Matt Manzanares, man, thank you very much for stepping up, taking the fight on short notice. There's not a whole lot of 25ers or pro 25ers to speak of, so again, I really appreciate that. Everybody at Factory X MMA and Muay Thai, Chris Camozzi, Brian Camozzi, Chase Hackett, Nick Macias, Tony Miller, Eric Moya, all my teammates that helped me get ready for this fight. And I trained my first 4 weeks of this fight with Joe Warren, and that man beat the crap out of me, so Joe Warren, thank you.